some comments coming through. Victor Owo says, Elder Clarke is making sense, but from history, our colonial masters obviously did things to favor themselves.
Definitely, nobody, no human body will, embark on a project without any personal considerations. When the British people came, they didn't come, they came to trade. And in the process, the best way they could trade was to use the chiefs, to get slaves. So they purposely came to trade. If you are a trader, don't you want profit? Is profit not a selfish attitude? So there is no doubt, there's no argument that when they came, they decided, for profit purpose. And all their actions were for profit purpose. There is no doubt about that. But they gave us independence. They handed over to us power.
Which, a host of people say the manner in which it was also done also contributed to our problems till date.
Today, America is worse than Nigeria in, nomenclature as to minorities and all this. Are they not surviving? Are they not surviving? You have the Chinese in America, you have the whole of the world, you have it in America. And they are surviving. Why can't we, with the natural resources we have in Nigeria, with the abundance natural resources, build on it? Rather, we are playing on the ethnic tune to be stealing money.
Do we have a sense of ownership of this country?
Look, there is no patriotism in Nigeria. In America today, if you are a black American, if you are a Chinese American, you fly the American flag.
Why do you think that is so?
It's not so here because of the ethnic factor, because of corruption. You are first a worry man before you even call yourself an Ishekiri man.
Is there no corruption in those other countries where patriotism still holds?
There is corruption everywhere. There is corruption in America. The problem is that in America, there are modes of correcting, and if you are caught. Let me give you an example. For the past 14 years, we have been under a civilian government. We don't have democracy. What we have is a civilian government, because the essence of democracy is to strengthen the institutions of governance. That is what makes democracy, not civilians in Agbada, going to fight. It's the strengthening of the institutions of democracy. We have not done that in 14 years. Now let me show you. Nigeria has not gained anything since we got civilian government. In terms of growth, in terms of patriotism. Because why? Everybody to his, then a minister will make sure that it is his own people. The president will make sure he has a constituency. It is our turn. The Hausas have chopped, the Yorubas have chopped.
Why do we always do that? Because even when you look at the Constitution, I also remember how a whole lot of people have called that we should drop some of these sections that seem to fuel or encourage favoritism, nepotism, and even ethnic, should I say, bias. Because when we talk about appointments, even for schools, you get to hear so many stories or nomenclatures in this Constitution that encourages that. So is it that we haven't actually thought it wise enough to untangle ourselves out of that?
Look, that is why I welcome what Mr. President has said, that we should sit down and re-reason our status. It is the way and manner he wants to do it that I'm against, as I said, because Yoruba said, Odo, Ongbe Odoru. 0 over 0 is 0. The same people who are enjoying from this system are the same people you are calling upon to come and sit down and recommend to me how I'm going to do this. Nothing will come out of it.
Well, I mean, isn't it for, they have a month. It's not for us to say, well, we agree with this manner or we don't agree with this manner.
Who are you to agree? Well, tell me.
Nigerians.
Nigeria, how do you do it?
They can get their voice heard.
How?
Anybody can speak up.
How many times have Nigerians been speaking up? Look at ASU strike. How many Nigerians have not been speaking? The government is not showing any concern.
But part of the challenge
I've
is
never seen a government that universities have been shut off for 3 months and is telling the world, I've done my best, I've given them the money they want, and they are sitting down, enjoying themselves.
Is that what they said? They've done their best?
Oh, yes. They said this is the money we can give them. When we have money, we'll be giving them.
No, but they raised some issues about how these same universities use their
they are still sitting
internally
down.
generated revenue.
Look, what I'm saying is that why should we tolerate a situation where our future leaders will stay at home for 3 months? Does it not concern you? Maybe you are not old enough at this age to have a child in the university. So you don't know what it means.
You never know.
I have a daughter, a 21-year-old daughter, in her final year. You know what pain it gives me to see my daughter sitting at home for 3 months. But nothing, this government is not doing anything. And that is why ASU 2 says they were going on strike.
Part of the challenge, they say, should also, or part of the blame, should rest with your profession, the judiciary. They hold a lot because, I mean, the president also said at the time, when cases come to court, we've had lots of lawyers even say corruption in the judiciary as well.
I am not denying. The CJN has admitted that there is corruption in the judiciary. Who am I to say there is no corruption? When the head of the judiciary and says, look, I am going during my term to make sure it is eroded. That is part of the system. The whole system in Nigeria has been corrupted. I admit it. But do we allow it to stay that way?
I'm so happy. Now you just talked about the education sector.
Yeah.
It's something I wanted us to look more. The students are on strike, and now the news coming in is that the polytechnics are also going on strike. They have been on
strike even before the ASU.
So it looks like our schools are shut. And for those who are already in school, someone goes in there to kill them in their sleep. All of this affects our education sector, whether we like it or not. What can we do to actually put an end to all of this back and forth with the education system?
I was listening to Okwesile in part of their thing, and she said the 2 most important things in Nigeria damaging us today is corruption and poverty. She said it, and I still listened to your news this morning. I saw her. And she's speaking the truth. What has caused Boko Haram today is poverty. It's poverty. Look, when 20 years ago, Kano State had the highest number of primary school students in Nigeria. About 20 years ago. Kano State. Today, I don't think they rate, number 30.
You say poverty is, the cause of Boko Haram. But, we listened to the presidential media chat on Sunday. The president did say that he doesn't believe that poverty is
Look, the president will tell you what his aides are telling him. The president is not on the ground.
No, but he asked some pertinent questions. He says, how many poor people can afford AK-47 rifles? How many poor people can afford the Hilux jeeps that are being used, to wreak havoc in the lives of the everyday Nigerian? How many poor people can actually do that?
Okay, if that is his own excuse, then he's not well informed. When poverty takes, go to a family, you find 10 people, nothing. And a man comes there, gives them AK-10, gives them 10,000. They will follow immediately. Go to Jankara today. If I have 20 guns and I want to do an operation, I will get 10 boys who have nothing to do for the day. That is the poverty I'm talking about.
It's not acquiring those arms. It's listening to someone who tries to influence
them. Because they are poor. Somebody comes, gives them 10,000 naira, gives them. It's the same thing, this oil bunkering.
Do we also say that poor people have no conscience?
It's not conscience, necessity of life. Necessity of life. Survivor.